So we were wrong.
You were wrong.
I know.
No, this is your fault. I stand up here, and you may not have realised, but we don't actually use a script.
No.
I know it's hard to tell, isn't it? 'Cause it's so
Yeah.
professional. And then you just said, "Oh, this Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to f2.8," without not allowing me to go away and do any research and thought processes.
You made assumptions, though, didn't you?
Well, and as one of the guys said in the comments, I was basing them on my last time I used Tamron, which is about 25 years ago. So they were bad assumptions. So yeah, we were wrong.
So yeah, with some corrections to make on our last video, and there's actually talking in your comments as well. We've done some more research to make this more rounded and more
Truthful.
Yeah, well, more
accurate.
But a lot of things we say are interpretations anyway. So but this we want to get the facts right. So in the original video last week, 12 days ago, we said
you called it terrible Tamron.
Terrible.
Why did you even do that anyway?
Because about the stigma of Tamron.
Is it a stigma
that you have?
Stigma or stigma?
So yeah, last week we said that the Nikon 24 to 120 f4 has VR.
You said it.
No.
And I believed you. No, you said it and I believed you.
It's all on tape.
So yeah, and you've got the tape and I haven't. VR will make up for at least that one stop difference or two stops difference, depending which range of the zoom.
Yeah.
And of course, it hasn't got VR. So what we've done actually is ploughed through all 92 lenses on the Nikon website.
Yeah.
Ignore the F mount, ignore the DX, and seeing which S lenses and which non-S lenses have VR and which don't.
And you've done a really good list. I'll put on the screen now. I'm just looking at my phone, of course. So a lot of them don't have built-in VR.
Yeah.
Which is okay because the IBIS on bodies is really good. I mean, the scale of it, well, the ZFC doesn't have any, and I miss it. The Z8, the opposite end of the scale, is fantastic. Noticeably better than the Z6 and Z7.
Right.
So it already got it built in, but when you combine it with a lens that has it as well, it's truly sensational.
I wonder how they choose though. For instance, 24 to 200 is not an S lens, but it's got VR. 24 to 120, as we've now found out, is an S lens, but it hasn't got VR. So I don't know.
I don't know. But it's great that the 70 to 200 has it, because I did it handheld at a gig theatre, 200mm handheld. It was like I was using a tripod.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so the 24 to 120 doesn't have it.
No. And it's only f4.
So therefore you'll have the same VR as the Tamron lens we're discussing now.
Yeah, which is just what's in the body. So
yeah, I mean, does that change things for you now then?
I think what's partly changed things for me is I looked at the videos you suggested. Christopher Frost does a really good one on the Sony version of it from a year ago. Yeah. And then Fro. Yeah. I don't know. And they both say how really good it is. Yeah. You know, built very well, performs brilliantly. It's great that it starts at f2 at 35mm, goes up to f2.8 by the time it gets to 150. So it's arguably a great event lens. But also it's nearly double the price of the 24 to 120. It's 80 in the UK. It's £1,800 compared to around about 1,000 for the 24 to 120. It's about 10% heavier, and it's a bit longer. So 80%, it's at least 80% more expensive. I think for those are some of the reasons why I probably, if I hadn't got I certainly wouldn't swap the 24 to 120 now I've got it. Yeah. If I hadn't got either, I would be scratching my head and thinking really hard whether I want to pay the extra, want the slightly bigger size and weight. And the other thing that I like that the 24 to 120 starts at 24 rather than 35. So you've actually got, you've got probably 20% more range between 24 and 35 on the 24 to 120. I don't know, 10% less or probably 20% less at the other end between 120 and 150. So it's, I think I would still prefer the 24 to 120 range, but it's the F2 moving then up to f2.8 is really appealing now.
Let me be the pragmatic one for a change. So when you did your 6-a-side World Cup event, right? You used two bodies and two lenses most of the time.
No, I didn't.
The 70 to 200.
Yeah, okay. I did have them, but I used the 70 to 200 about 95% of the time.
Okay.
So
but just imagine,
I was going to use 24 to 120, but I ended up really.
But just imagine in the scenario then that you had 2 bodies and 2 lenses to cover the range.
Yeah.
But if you had it started at 35 to 150, wouldn't that cover most of what you needed?
You know what we were saying the other week, when you got zoom lens, you often take a load of photos, either the minimum focal length or the maximum, and I was pretty much quite often on 200, so I needed the 200 to be honest.
I've been thinking about this too, because even though it can't replace prime, as in, well, it replaces the 1.8 primes, I would say, within the range, because it's only, you know, the 35 and the 50, maybe even the 85, you could probably... But I use below that, so I use faster lenses, 1.2, 1.4. It can't replace them.
Yeah.
But if I
can't replace that from your point of view.
No.
Well, I mean, a lot of the reviews, etc., and other commentators have said that it could be arguably the ideal wedding.
Yeah. Well, this is the case. So if you're in an open space outside, not in small rooms or anything, then it would be an ideal focal length, because 35 to 150 covers pretty much everything you need outside. Yeah. As a second shooter at a wedding, I mean, that would be great. You wouldn't need 2 bodies and 2 lenses. You just have one, and therefore the weight of the 1 body and 1 lens is better than carrying 2.
Yeah.
And if I was to start again, because I have the Trinity, I love it, the Trinity, but I'm more of a prime guy. So if I was to start again, I would get the Tamron 35 to 150, and then for the other range, I'll get the 17 to 28.
Yeah.
2.8 version, and it's a Tamron lens again.
Yeah.
But that covers from 17 to 150.
Yeah. Well, it's just those 2 lenses.
And it's 2 lenses instead of the Trinity of the 3, which would be also, well, over, you know, it's a third of the cost of those Trinity. Even though they're amazing lenses, for my use case.
But as you're Mr. Prime now, you're not allowed to do any of that in any case.
Well, in an outdoor space, primes aren't so good, because, you know, if someone's short and they're really far away, my primes just...
Yeah.
So having that lens would really fit a lot of case scenarios that my current Trinity wouldn't, because it's all in one kind of lens. So that's where it would fit with me. If I was starting again, I even looked at what my lenses are worth, like the 14 to 24. I was
going to say you could sell them all and do that, but then
well,
you'd lose
14 to 24 is like they're all about £2,000 each now, generally.
Yeah.
And I looked, and it's in mint condition. I'd only get half the value for it. And that's the price of the Tamron lens that I'll get in its place. So there's no point in me doing it now. No. I'd lose
too much money.
Yeah. But if I was starting again, I certainly would do that.
They're tempting. I mean, I've got a gig photographing in a cathedral next week, and I'm probably going to take 70 with my harness, 70 to 200, 24 to 70.
Right.
Now, that is where I probably don't need 24mm for that.
No.
So 35mm to 150.
F2 as well. That
F2 to f2.8, would arguably be ideal for that.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is preview video, so we haven't got the lenses. We don't actually know what they're like to use. We haven't tried the non-S version Trinity yet, any of those.
No.
So we don't actually know we're kind of speculating on other people's reviews and kind of bringing it together. But it's just a really interesting discussion, I think, to bring into the mix.
Yeah.
And if I was starting again, I would certainly really look into the Tamron.
Because when we were buying the lenses that we've got, there wasn't any viable alternatives, I don't think, at those times, was it?
No.
But I mean, it's great that now we've got so much more choice from Nikon lenses, but also then people like Tamron, Viltrox, etc.
There's always going to be certain use cases for each of these Nikon S lenses that you'll need to have. But for everything else, then I think we're in a new era, exciting era.
Yeah.
Where third-party lenses are back to being good. So we're sorry, we got some wrong. Don't want to give false information.
He got it wrong. I was misled.
Because I did see a lot of Nikon kind of loyalists here saying, you know, I don't want to go to third-party manufacturers and stuff. And then some people say, well, you know, like we have just now. So it's really quite a discussion going on here.
You want to see a comparison, don't you, between that? At the end of the day, I'm not bothered what name really is on the lens. No. It's all about the end result, isn't it?
Brand. That's what brands are, though, isn't it? If you buy, you know, branding is all about kind of irrational kind of.
Yeah, but I know you're into your brands and your labels and as we can see, it took hours in wardrobe today getting
Holes
ready
in my
for this.
t-shirt. Yeah.
So, but really, at the end of the day, they're trying to get a job done. They're tools, aren't they? So
exactly.